What if I told you that you could give your child a superpower? I'm not talking about flying or turning invisible, but something way more real and honestly, way more powerful. Today, we're going to talk about agency. It's this fundamental belief a child has that they can make things happen, and it might just be the single most important key to unlocking their true potential.
Think about a child's potential like an iceberg. What we actually see on the surface, their actions, the things they say, that's just the very tip. Underneath the water, there's this huge, unseen world of capabilities, ideas, and potential just waiting for the right moment to come out.
And that really brings us to the foundation of all of this. The one belief we have to start with is this: young learners are capable, period. Now, it sounds simple, right? But when you truly believe it, it changes everything. It challenges us to look past what we think are limitations and to see the incredible potential that's been there from day one.
Okay, so why is it so important to see this capability? Why does this matter so much? Well, it's way more than just a nice, feel-good idea. It actually has a massive impact on how a child grows and develops.
So let's get right to the heart of it. Why is building this sense of agency, this sense of I can, so incredibly critical for a kid?
Well, this isn't just a guess. It's actually backed up by some pretty powerful research in psychology. You've got things like self-determination theory, which basically says we all have this deep need to feel in control and competent, to have a say in our own lives. And then there's self-efficacy, which shows that kids who believe they can actually influence their own outcomes are just more motivated, more resilient, more successful. It's all about fostering that little voice inside that says, hey, I can do this.
Okay, so now that we know why agency is such a big deal, let's break down what it actually is. The easiest way to think about it is that it stands on three main pillars: voice, choice, and ownership.
So here's a great definition. Agency is the power to take meaningful and intentional action. I want you to focus on those two words, meaningful and intentional. This isn't just about being busy or doing stuff. It's about acting with a purpose, with a why behind it.
And those three pillars really bring it to life. First up, you've got voice. That's the feeling a child has that their ideas matter, that they're actually being heard. Then there's choice, the chance to make real decisions that affect them. And finally, ownership. That's taking responsibility for those choices and what happens next. Voice, choice, ownership. That's the whole foundation right there.
So, how do these three things actually work together in the real world? Well, it all happens through this simple but really powerful little process called the agency-action cycle.
You can really boil this whole cycle down to three easy steps. It all kicks off with a choice. A child decides, you know what, I'm going to build a tower. Then they act on it. They start stacking the blocks, figuring out how to make it balance. And then, and this part is absolutely crucial, they reflect. When the tower inevitably falls over, they think, okay, maybe if I make the bottom wider, it'll be stronger. That little loop of choice, action, and reflection, that's where the real deep learning kicks in. Now, this all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But what does it actually look like on a chaotic Tuesday morning when you're just trying to get everybody out the door on time? Let's take this idea of agency out of the textbook and bring it right into our homes. So yeah, for real, what does this look like in the middle of a messy afternoon or when you're just trying to get dinner on the table? How does this work in our actual everyday lives?
It all starts small, like really small. We're talking about simple, age-appropriate choices that build up their decision-making muscles over time. It could be as simple as, hey, do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue one today? Or, which book should we read before bed? Now to us, these seem like no big deal decisions, but for a child, they're hearing a powerful message: your opinion matters. You have a choice here. And that final piece of the puzzle, ownership, really starts to grow when we give them a little responsibility. Again, these are simple things: helping pack their own snack, getting themselves dressed, or being in charge of watering a little plant. These are not just chores to get done. They are genuine opportunities for a child to see themselves as a capable, contributing part of the family. It's how that idea of ownership becomes real.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here, so let's just boil it all down to the three most important things to take away from all this.
Okay, first thing to remember, agency is power. It's that deep down belief that I can make a difference. Second, action is a process. It's not just one thing. It's that powerful cycle of choosing, doing, and then thinking about it. And third, parents or partners. The support you give at home is what makes these ideas stick and become real, meaningful learning.
So I want to leave you with this.
Building up this superpower isn't about making huge, dramatic gestures. Not at all. It's built in all the little, consistent moments of everyday life. So the real question is, what's one choice, no matter how small, that you can offer your child today to help them start building their superpower? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.